Hello you guys, back here with another video. Today I'll be changing the fluid. It's a manual transmission 5-speed. I'll put which transmission I have in the description when I look it up. There's really no reason to be switching out the transmission fluid because the manufacturer actually says that it's a lifetime, it's a sealed system, you don't have to change it. There is no dipstick on it, so they don't expect you to have to ever change it. I'm changing it because I took my transmission out to replace the clutch. In my last video, I actually have the draining part of the transmission process in from the other video put into this one. If you have a lot of miles on your car, I don't see a problem in it. Just hopefully you know what you're doing. You need to drain the transmission fluid. It does use hydraulic fluid for the clutch. The refill hole is right here. The drain hole is actually down there. It uses an 8mm hex bit. The problem is that you need to have a very short hex bit to be able to use it. Seeing as the bolt is right there, my hex bit doesn't fit, and I have tried prying on the transmission against the subframe to move it. That didn't work. Could not move it enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grind this down. Now careful when you're doing this because you need to, you don't want to grind the corners down. Because as you can see, I kind of nicked it, but it'll be fine. So it'll take a while. Once you're done with that, it goes like this to get it leveled out. Alright, so I ground it down. I showed you where I nicked it, and it's pretty much got rid of all that nicked area. So as you can see, kind of going over the edge a little bit, so I will go flatten it out on that side, the side of that grinding wheel for a quick second, and we'll give this a shot. Hopefully this is short enough. You have to take breaks because it does get pretty hot. And now it fits. Alright, as you can see, I have a cheater bar on here. Use that because it's pretty tight. Oh shit. So I have my drain pan under there. I broke loose the bottom one, the drain plug, but I'm actually going to remove the fill plug, and I'm actually going to use it's an Allen socket with some extensions just so it's easier, because I couldn't really get my hex bit in there, my Allen wrench in there. But remove that fill plug, then remove the drain plug. I don't know if it's necessary. I'm just doing it that way we don't get any air pockets or whatnot. Now that we have our transmission fluid drained, you can just put your drain plugs back in. Torquing that bottom one down is going to be pretty difficult. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and drain the system. I'll show you how to do that right now. Now that we've drained our system, we're going to go ahead and fill it up. The fluid you can use is Transmax DEXRON. According to my research, this is okay to use, as well as DEXRON 3. You can go ahead and go to the Saturn dealership and get their overpriced transmission fluid, but in all honesty, I feel that this does the exact same thing. But what do I know? I am not held responsible for your car, so do your research. Alright, so what I did was I took maybe 4 or 5 inches of 1/2-inch tubing, and I drilled a hole in my cap, and a hole that was slightly smaller than the hose, so it really had to get shoved in there. Now that I've got this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this hose and I'm going to put it in that fill hole. I don't know why we can't see. Give me just a second. There we go. Apparently it was so low. Okay, so as you can see, when I took that top filler nut out, it's actually draining out. When I filled it up, I actually had my car lifted off the ground quite a bit, and I didn't think it was going to help, because if anything, the car being level was here, being up actually made it like this, and I thought that the fill hole, it was actually going to need more, so I actually expected to have to put something in it today, but I'm going to still show you the process. So you go ahead and take your bottle and you put the hose in the hole, and my hose actually fits in there pretty snugly. It's not really going to be draining anything right now, but what you do is you kind of give it a little squeeze and you let the air in the line and you pull the hose out, and it will actually leak out. Now, your system is full when it doesn't hold any more fluid in there. So right now we're going to let the fluid go drain out, so it's not going to be overfilled. And you can actually see that was a lot of fluid that came out, and I did leak some in there just now as well from the bottle. And when it's full, you take your nut that you took off, the filler nut, and you just torque it down. I think it was like to 20 foot-pounds, but basically I don't usually, when it's so low like that, I don't usually torque it. I usually just torque as much as I can with my wrist, and I'll show you that in just a second. What I usually do is I usually hold it and I put my thumb on the top, and I usually just twist as much as I can with my forearm. Sorry about the bad angle. I just twist as much as I can with my forearm like this. Sometimes I might hold it like this and do it. And that should be as tight as you need it. I mean, you can actually snap the threads out. It's only aluminum and it's not very strong. Hopefully that helped you guys. Like I said, I don't really see any reason to be changing your fluid. I drained it because I didn't want it pouring out of the CV axle holes, and I was concerned about that. But you really should have no reason to do it unless you're pulling the transmission, then maybe.